Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Ones Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we had some internet issues. It could be because I was, maybe the tea was just a little bit too piping hot, but I did link the first part in the live chat, and I will come back and put it in the regular comments as well. For those that you maybe haven't figured out, there's a delay with the live chat as to whether or not you can see it right after I post it. I think it takes like 12 to 24 hours, something like that. But just a quick summary for you all. It looks like we've got tension in a friendship that is due to a twin flame connection. For some of you, that may not necessarily be a full fledged twin flame connection, but the on and off element is there, right? So, my ability to be a good friend to somebody is dependent upon whether or not I'm currently embroiled in some drama with a person that I can't seem to get over. And as a result, we've got this person who's in that twin flame connection failing to be there for a close friend in a really difficult moment. Maybe they've lost somebody close to them. Maybe they've had a significant financial hit. We did have the money problems, but there have been past issues, and a lot of them seem to be tied to this third party or this twin flame dynamic. So let's con spirit with a little bit Owen time. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you have some nice weather. If you would like a personal reading, I'd love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. And go ahead and check out my membership options as well. There's 3 different tiers. Hello, Jess. Hello, Key Controller. What's going on? Thank you for being so good about letting me know when there are connection issues. I appreciate you. Oh, it is definitely getting warmer today. I might not have made the right choice when I went with a sleeve shirt instead of like a tank top. We got 9 of Cups in the reverse, the 7 of Cups, and the 4 of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, so there's somebody here who's been a bit selfish. They've prioritized what probably most people would say is the wrong thing. Not being there for someone in a difficult moment because they would rather chase a connection that seems to be quite toxic. We've got the 7 of Cups and the 4 of Swords in the reverse. The options available to this friend are probably more extensive than this, but boil down to, do I want to spend time with somebody that I have an on again, off again relationship with, or do I want to be there for my close friend in their hour of need? And with the 4 of Swords in the reverse, kind of feels obvious to me that they chose the relationship. They're like, oh, sorry, I'm busy. Gonna go grab some Mexican food or go get drunk with my person. I can't be there for you, even though you might be crying. Like, not a good friend move. 5 of Wands in the reverse. 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. And the World in the reverse. So this leads to some introspection on the part of the person who's not involved in the twin flame, but is involved in the friendship. I feel like I need some names for these people. Forgive me. I'm going to call the individual who is healing from a difficult loss, who is hoping to count on their friend, the Star. And the person who is in the twin flame connection or an on again, off again thing, who is maybe not the best of friends, would be our Queen of Wands. So this Star energy is thinking about things, thinking about the friendship itself. Obviously, there's a lot on their minds because there's some loss here or some grief that they're dealing with. Again, my condolences. But they're also noticing that something is a pattern. I thought I could ignore this, or I didn't really feel like it was such a big problem. I've always been friends with this person. But now the more I think about it, the more I realize I seem to be a little bit less important to them than they are to me, or they don't necessarily treat me with the same respect that I treat them with. So the World in the reverse indicates that we've got somebody who is not feeling like supported, I feel like this is an offense, or it's a situation that makes me feel bad about myself that might actually happen again because you've done this in the past as well. Hello, Carol Ann. How we doing? Ace of Swords in the reverse. Seven of Swords in the reverse. And the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Yeah. I think there might be a lie involved in the, like, it's like an excuse, like, oh, I can't be there. I already bought tickets, or I said I would do this. But I don't think they're being honest. It's like they really just want to justify spending time with this person that they have a toxic connection with. And you end up finding some evidence, maybe even a receipt, like, okay, well, it looks like you actually bought that ticket right after you talked to me, or, I told you, and those tickets weren't even on sale. There's something here that you can prove they manipulated the situation to make it sound like they couldn't be a good friend to you, or they justified their choice in a way that isn't really, in your opinion, justifying it. Hi, Louise. How are you doing? So I did have a head start, or like I want to say it was about maybe 10 minutes or so. And I linked it at the top of the live chat if you want to look at that. But this one's only 6 minutes in. Hello, Carrie. How's it going? I'm online every day, Key Controller. Come on now. Oh, dang. You guys getting specific with it. We've got the Ace of Cups and the reverse. The Queen of Swords, and there's that star again. I just want to remind you, star, whoever has lost this connection or is upset with their friend, there are people out there that make not so great choices. There are people that we hope can be there for us when we have difficult days, and sometimes they're not there for us. But I do want to remind you that you are strong. You are stronger than most people. You have an ability to understand things like law of attraction or acceptance, letting go, the importance of closure or forgiveness. So remember all the tools that you have available to you to deal with whatever this difficult situation is. And I do feel like you're going to find somebody to fill those shoes that may be left by a friend who isn't really being a good friend right now. Some of you may actually have a dream of somebody that's passed on that is comforting for you, but I feel the majority of you are going to end up getting closer to a different friend, or even meeting a brand new friend and finding that there are characteristics with this new person that are a little bit more aligned to that companionship or that friendship that you would like to see. All right, this is the Voyage of the Soul. Hello, Bitchy Tata. How we doing? I hope it's not super weird. Hello, James. How's it going? Dimensions and empath. The thing is, whoever I'm reading for, probably this star energy, you are seen as a very kind and sensitive individual. I think you offer a lot of genuine support and kind friendship to others, but you may often find yourself not getting that same energy back. A lot of people aren't capable of the type of love that you offer. So, what does that mean? That means you have to be selective. You have to have a little bouncer out front before people are allowed to be your friend. In fact, you know what? I have a little mini Jesus. Here's our little bouncer, okay? Hello, yes, I'd like to know if you're a good friend when I have a bad day, or are you selfish? You have a little bouncer. Make sure that anybody that you're considering to be, a close friend or a trustworthy coworker, like, let's just make sure we know where we stand, right? Because when you're an empath, there are going to be people potentially like this friend of yours who might be a bit opportunistic with it. They need something, they come to you, you make them feel better. But when you need something, poof, gone. Where'd they go? Oh, I can't find them. Maybe you've had a friendship where they'll call you up and they'll tell you all about their horrible day, but then they always have to leave or they sign off before they ask you how you're doing. It's important to feel like if you care about somebody and you want to know how they're doing or you want to be there for them when it's a rough day, that energy comes back to you sometimes too, right? What's the word I'm looking for? Symbiosis? A symbiotic friendship? I suppose there's a less scientific way to describe it. What else do we have? Whispers and intuition. So, to the star, you are a beautiful human. You've got such great energy. It does draw in a lot of people, and many of them are unhealed. They are drawn to you because you have a very different, like a calming energy, right? But we have to listen to our intuition. I do think that the whispers and intuition is here because many of you had earlier concerns with this friendship and felt like maybe you deserved better than what they were offering you, or maybe at some point you should have a conversation with them about how they just kind of like drop their burdens on you and then they run, or how they're not necessarily reliable when you need them. Keep in mind that we cannot control how other people act. You can try. I'm sure there are some people out there who are like, nah, I'm actually like really good at controlling people. What do you know, Carmen? Sure. How long can you keep that going? Do you still have a soul? If you want to be a good person, if you believe in karma, if you want to, you know, work with the energy that's available and not be manipulative about it, we can agree that you cannot make anybody do anything. They're going to do what they want to do. So if somebody is showing you that they're not willing to show up for you, then stop showing up for them. Don't give all of your energy and that healing, comforting, guiding energy away and leave yourself bereft of the energy you need for yourself, because you've helped them get through so many things that now when you need to heal, do you have enough to take care of yourself? I'm not saying F everybody. None of you get to have my healing energy on your own. But I'm saying you got to be willing to admit to yourself when maybe there's somebody who sees that you're an empath and they want to take advantage of that, because you're too smart for that. Hello, Co-Create. How are we doing today? Is it Digitata? I expect you to update your username now. What else? So we have vessel, body, nourishment, wholesome nutrition and health. Yin, affection, caring, soft, heart, and feminine. I would venture to guess that many of the individuals who resonate with this star energy have some neck pain, back pain, headaches. Maybe you don't know why. You're taking on other people's energy. You're dealing with other people's problems and not getting that affection back. What do they call that? Is it psychosomatic? Where our thoughts, our stress, our anxiety, that can have impact on your body. There is something happening for this star that is bodily, and it is tied to the fact that you have somebody that likes to be dependent upon you when they have a difficult time, but they're not there for you when you need them. Chapters: light after darkness, rise, new life, dawn and unfold, and sexuality, sensuous, passion, kundalini, sacred sex, primal, and carnal. The thing is, I do think that there is a lot going on with this Queen of Wands, the friend of yours that's involved in a twin flame connection. I think there's a lot that's left to be desired in terms of how they could be respectful of the friendship that they have with you. I do think there's also a chance that after some time they're going to be able to approach the friendship with you in a less toxic or not codependent way. But you are not required to sit here and wait around for them to figure out how to treat you right. You want to come back around in a couple years after you pull yourself together. Cool. I've tried to be there, haven't really got that friendship energy back. So maybe you need a little bit of a break. Maybe you need to pull back on your energy because I feel like they're impacting your actual health, to be honest with you. Even if it's just like, man, it just kind of hurts in my neck a little bit. Like maybe you're taking on other people's crap. Just saying. All right, let's get a few from the situations deck. Hey, Tiana. Hey, Upper Echelon. How we doing? What else do we have? Love, adore, admire, enchantment. Triggers, name, car, place. The friendship, this Queen of Wands, the friendship takes on this kind of like roller coaster experience because they get like triggered or they have really difficult times balancing this twin flame connection with their life. That's why the friendship with you sometimes suffers, but it's also indicative that this person has some healing that they're not necessarily approaching the way that they need to. We've got synchronicities, escapade, and receipts. They've gotten signs about, how to approach things better and they've ignored them. They may have also gotten really good advice from you about their twin flame connection and been like, that's great advice that I'm never going to listen to. Thank you, though. This is somebody who keeps like sidestepping the issues and ignoring the reality of the situation, which is why there's a lot of instability or drama that they continue to kind of like put onto you, right? So you're also receiving signs, and those signs are if you notice that this friend isn't really a good friend to you, if they aren't willing to approach the situation in an honest way, if they leave you in the lurch when you're having a really tough time, you got to be honest with yourself about whether or not it's time to have a pretty serious conversation with them or whether or not you might need a little bit of a break. Hello, Archetype. How are you doing? Hello, dude. What's happening? Hey, Laura. I hope you're having a good day. So we've got waves, emotions coming and going, settlement, agreement, compromise, and projected. Future, days, weeks, months. There's a change or compromise happening in the future. So for many of you, there is a break happening in this friendship. This person needs to kind of like sort it out, figure out what's going on. And maybe when you're not around, they can learn how to self-soothe or deal with their own problems without being so dependent upon you, right? But I do think that in the future, there's a way for the two of you to mend the friendship. Again, this could be your person's friendship, however it resonates for you. But it's a matter of somebody learning how to deal with their own emotions instead of constantly going for you and expecting you to process this and solve things for them. They have to be a bit more, what's the word? They have to be more in charge, more in control of their own things and self-sufficient, right? All right, let's get a few from the Fairy Lenormand. I'm glad to hear that, Tiana. Number 34, which is the fish. This talks about good news. And number 8, the coffin. Now, obviously, there's a potential that whoever is resonating with the star has lost somebody or is grieving someone. Got the coffin. My condolences. But this is saying sometimes having that scorched earth approach gets you the best harvest. Sometimes having the clean slate approach first requires that you burn it all down. Am I advocating for arson? Absolutely not. I'm saying sometimes you really do need to take a break. Sometimes you really do need to step back. Let somebody see how things are without you. Let them try to calibrate their own life without depending upon your healing energy. So there seems to be some positive news coming into your life here in the near future. And I do feel like this is because you have some good karma coming your way. However, I'm a little concerned about this snake energy because it feels to me like if you get too caught up in this friends argumentative situation or breakup, or if you get a little bit too caught up in grieving and you aren't able to heal, it's possible that you miss or you have less of a window of opportunity on something that is meant to be yours. So we are advocating here for you to make sure you're not getting caught up in somebody's lies or illusions. For some of you, this is saying, even if you catch this friend making up an excuse or lying about a reason why they can't be there for you, maybe ask yourself if it's worth having an argument over the lie, or if it's better just to say, I think I need a little bit of time. Let's connect again in the future. But right now, I just need to focus on some other things. There is good news and courage and happiness in your future, but it may kind of depend on you pulling back from a friendship and reassessing how that should look, how it should work if that friendship were a little bit more respectful or a little bit more balanced, right? This is what's the news. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to sum it up, Carol Ann. What else do we have? So we've got the rebounds card. Oh no. Flighty, temporary option, unpredictable intentions. I do think this is the twin flame energy, and that's what's kind of spilling over into your friendship with this person. Sneaky link, because quite often they feel like they have to be hiding what's going on, or this person feels like they can't tell you all of the actual nitty-gritty of what happens between the two of them. There could be some criminal activity here. I'm not going to lie. There could be somebody who's been in and out of jail, or somebody who is trying to avoid problems within their family or within their friend group. Maybe even some concerns that money was stolen from your friend. But this is a lot of drama. I feel like you are this light bulb moment, right? You are realizing maybe things would be a lot easier for me to deal with my own issues if I wasn't constantly listening to the ups and downs of this person's relationship and, prioritizing their problems over my own. This person seems to be maybe partying a little bit too much. That could be your friend or the twin flame person, or both of them. Yeah, toxic energy for sure. Granted, the card is actually called machismo, so could be related to that as well. But you're being advised to break away for a little bit. You don't have to be around this. If they're willing to minimize what you're going through and give up what I view to be like the responsibility of a friend. If you are calling yourself a close friend of someone and they're having a horrible day, they've lost somebody that's important to them, or maybe, there's some job security issues. How can you like literally call yourself a friend if you're not going to try to put a smile on their face or at least listen to them when they're having a difficult time? This friend, quote unquote, is more concerned with having a good time or making memories with a toxic love interest. So it's disappointing, okay? All right. We're going to grab a few from the signs of the times. What else do we have? Never give up. Phrases, motivation, opportunity, key. There's a good thing coming to you. And I feel like it could be you have a romantic relationship that you're about to meet this person or things are about to elevate. But I also think this is about your living situation. Some of you may be moving in with a new partner. Some of you may be moving, and then because of that, you meet a new love. But you are about to encounter a healthy connection, and maybe that proximity to somebody who's involved in a very toxic relationship is just like a little too close to the fire. Like when you build a bonfire and you're super excited to roast some marshmallows, but then you realize maybe your chair is just a little bit too close to the fire. I don't want to start on fire. Infinity, unlimited potential, and action. So do what you need to protect your energy, to make sure that you are able to heal from the situation. I do think that this friendship is meant to come back together down the line, but somebody needs to make a little bit of a discovery about themselves and their own emotions. And you are meant to be kind of an explorer right now. So I'm tempted to call you Dora. There's so many things that you are capable of doing. And this person's drama seems to be kind of an obstacle in your way. You are meant to be kind of like, I don't know. I guess the way I'm seeing it is if you were in a video game and you get like a little burst of speed, you're supposed to be moving at a pretty fast clip. There are things that you were meant to achieve. There's good karma waiting for you, prosperity waiting for you, and you get held back by this person's drama and they keep trying to get you to solve all their problems. And it's like, I got things to do, okay? Places to be, people to see. I like it. Excellent. All right. I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Don't worry. I'll be back for another live stream yet today. And thank you for the likes and the subscribes and the memberships. Doodles.